Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Dina, and for my first episode of this video I want to share with you a new start. This was a freebie chart that was sent to me. The link was sent to me by a friend of mine, Gloria, and she found it as she was just online shopping around, and she sent it to me, and it's called, well, I call it Quiet Please. It's a Quaker piece, and it says Quiet Please Cross Stitcher at Work. Since it is a freebie, I'm going to show you the pattern just briefly, but here it is. And I will try to put the link below, or I'll put it in my comments below where I found it. But I pulled a piece of fabric out of my stash, and I pulled some beautiful silk that I shared with y'all, and a blue and a beautiful purple, and this is how it is looking so far. I'm going to see if I need oh, there we go. I'll give y'all a little bit of light so you can see it. Okay, how's that? Okay, this is the variegated silk. It's a dark purple, a dark blue, and a little tiny bit of a brown color. And then I've got my dark navy blue, which is 823. And then I've got that pretty purple right there, which is 32. And I thought these colors, the blue and the purple, complemented the variegated piece there. Here's this motif is variegated, and all of this word is variegated, the words. So my plan is to just mix up the variegated silk and the two blue and purple flosses, just to give it a little bit of relief for your eyes, you know, to have a different color to look at. And I'll move that brightness out of the way now. But that's what I've gotten done. I started this because was working on a prompt in Cheryl McKinney's group, and I don't even remember now why this was such a perfect piece for it, but I felt like it would be, and I went ahead and wanted to get that done. Also, I have a prompt for extra credit in School of Magical Stitches that says we have to do something that has a cauldron or a potion or something to do with that. And what I'm going to claim for this is there is a bird in here, there's a plant on here, there's a big leaf on here, there's an acorn, and I am actually going to claim that these are actual ingredients for a potion, and hoping that that will count for me. If they will take that, that's going to be my story anyway. And I will do the required 500 stitches on it, but I had to get it started so that I could, you know, get to those pieces. That's what I wanted to do. So now I'm ready, because the there's a motif here, and then the bird is right here, and then there's flowers over here. Flowers are over here, and but you know, as I'm working across here in the center, I'll be hitting a lot of those items that you would use to make a potion. I have a friend I have mentioned before, Gloria. In fact, she's the one that sent me the link to that freebie pattern. And she and I are going to be stitching a pattern for each other. Never done this before, but it's sort of a twist on a sal. We decided we were going to sal this piece for our sewing rooms. Gloria is about to set up her sewing room in her new home, where they've retired to, and she wanted to make one of these for her sewing room, and she shared it with me, and she said, don't you think that would be great in your sewing room? And I said, yes, I do. So she shared this pattern with me. She bought one for me, and then as we were talking about it, we thought it would be kind of a neat idea for me to stitch this and her to stitch it, but before we fully finish it, to send it to each other. So I'm going to stitch one for her, and she's going to stitch the same piece for me. And we are designing it based on the colors that we think the other one would like. So I'm not going to share that with you right away, because I want Gloria to see it first. But I just want to let you know I will be starting this tonight. so that I can get started on it. Gloria has already started hers, and so she's jumped out ahead of me. So I got to get going. I'm so looking forward to this, and I would love to encourage any of you guys that have a common interest, a pattern, especially something like this that you can do that, you know, won't take you, you know, it's not like a Haid or something. But there's something you can do for each other. And it's like Gloria and I were talking today through email, and she said when she's working on it, she's thinking of me, you know, and remembering different things that I've said in either in my videos or on email. We've never met in person. Don't know that we ever will get to. Sure hope we do. But we're becoming friends just through, you know, our first connection with FlossTube. And that's just one of the neatest things about being in this group of people. Oh, you guys, I hope you're having a great week of stitching. I'm not sure how much more I'll be on here this week because of my huge event at church, the big fundraiser that we're doing. But I'll try to get a little footage for you and share it with you. And I hope you'll enjoy it. So in the meantime, happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina, and it is Wednesday today, and the date is September 25th. Right now, I just want to share with you a little bit of haul that came in. I don't always have much haul to share. I am doing Stitch from Stash, so I am careful about what I buy. But as you know, I've been working on Simply Love really hard, and I've been working it toward a finish next month. And I noticed the last time I worked on it that I was very low on 2 of my colors of silk. And when I looked at the pattern, I really felt like I might need another skein of silk. So I have had to order Mulberry Ice and Merlot. These are the 2 beautiful silks that are 2 of my colors in the Simply Love. So I'll put this into that project bag, and before I put it away, I wanted to share it with you. And then I think you've been watching me as I stitch these little mice back here. And I just finished another one, as you know, that were the 2 working on the cake called Plum Pudding. Well, I have another one that's a Mary Mousemas or something like that. It's a little one. It's a little mouse standing on top of an inverted Santa hat. And since I'm doing the red in a particular color of Gentle Arts called Weathered Barn, I was afraid because that hat is so big that I would run out. So I got another color, another skein of Weathered Barn, and that will go into that project bag so that I can start that new little piece, hopefully before Christmas. But as you know, threads can't travel alone. You have to have a good pattern to go with them. And so I have been trying to stitch more for Thanksgiving and fall. And so I saw this one from Bent Creek called Thankful Quaker. And I just loved it. And so I have ordered this, and it came with my threads. I love this, the fork and spoon right below the turkey. That's kind of telling you what's coming, isn't it? And it looks to me as if they have a couple of, they have 3 yellow star buttons on here. So those may or may not, oh, they're here in the package. I don't look at the pattern, but they're right there. So they actually came with it. So I'm all set. I'll just have to kit it up. They have all the colors in Gentle Art, some of which I have, but they also have the DMC. So I'll be able to do this in a combination of the 2, and that'll be great. So that's called Thankful Quaker by Bent Creek. It's a nice little small Quaker. I'm excited about it. I'll probably start it as soon as I finish my Quiet Please cross stitcher at work, which is a Quaker, and I'll get that going. So my friend Melody texted me this morning, and she said, I just saw your latest video, and did I count 2 new starts? Yeah, she did. And then I had the wonderful pleasure of letting her know that since I put that video up, I've had 2 more. So I did start the Quaker Quiet Please, and I did also start This Is My Happy Place, which I mentioned to you I would be starting for my swap with my friend. And so I'm not going to show that. I'll take pictures of it and I'll share it with you after she gets it. But this is the piece that I'm doing. I'm doing my own color conversion, so it will not be these colors. But I think she is also doing her own color conversion to try to pick colors that are meant, you know, for my sewing room too. So that's what I'm working on today. I can't share it with you because it's sort of a gift stitch, and she watches my channel. So Glow, I'm working on it. I hope all of you are enjoying your stitching. I will hopefully get to start my homework sometime this week. We'll see. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm just stitching what I want to stitch right now. And I hope you are doing the same. Happy stitching, everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is Dina. Today is Saturday. It's the 28th of September, which means we're almost done with September. And today was the last day of our big weekend event at our church where we were raising money for a local charity. And I'm very pleased to report it went very well. However, when I got home, I noticed a lot of emails where I had been getting notifications of new subscribers. So thank you all for joining. And I checked because of that and noticed that my number of subscribers has gone over 4,500. So it's time for a giveaway. I try to do that every 500. So I just thank you again. I don't know who mentioned me, what drew you to come check me out. I just want to thank you for doing that. So we have a little giveaway to celebrate. I had such a wonderful response from sharing my Happy Mail with you, and several of you either commented on some of those patterns you recognized. Taryn actually said she almost fell off the chair when she saw Norman Rockwell, but I decided that I would go ahead and share some of those now so you have time to stitch them for the season. And I also want to share one of my own patterns that I had purchased and recently stitched and shared with you the finish, and that is Be Thankful. It is the 11th in the series of the Beatitudes from Shepherd's Bush, and I just thought this one was precious. You can still get this bead pack from Shepherd's Bush, and I think it cost me about $14. But if you already have your pattern, and if you can find fabric in your stash, that would be all it would cost you to stitch this. So if you're interested in this piece, just put that you would like to stitch Be Thankful. And I will put your name on the list for that, and we'll draw for a winner on my next video. Well, in addition to that, I have several Christmas patterns. And since we are getting into the fall, some people who like to try to stitch something new for Christmas still have a little time to do that, or you may want a new start for Christmas during that season. So I want to get these patterns to you if I can. So the first thing that I want to give away is a beautiful pattern that you probably have seen stitched by Vintage Stitches if you watch her channel. And I just miss you so much, just want to let you know that. And she had gifted me this pattern, so I have it already. And this is a duplicate that I got from Crystal. And Crystal's already contacted me after seeing my last video and said she's so excited that I'm going to stitch some of her gift and that I'm going to share some of her gifts. So I'm really happy about that. But this is the piece that's Poinsettia, and it is a Janet Crew Designs. And it's part of a series called Women in Flower, and I just think that one is really, really pretty. So if you would like to stitch this pattern, if you want to be on the list for it, please just let me know you'd like to stitch the Poinsettia pattern. And there's a companion piece to that. It's called Baby Flake. This is what it looks like. I'm trying to keep the glare off of it for you. If you are interested in this pattern, please just comment that you would like to stitch Baby Flake, and I will put your name on the list for an opportunity to get that. And Crystal, thanks again for thinking of me for both of those. Then this is a beautiful piece also from Crystal that I think you've probably seen this being stitched by one of our Floss Tube favorite people. And I just wanted to share this with you. She has a small child and stitched it for her son, but my son is not a small child anymore. So I won't keep it for me. I'd like to share it with one of you that might want to stitch it for your child's room. Anyway, this is the Joyful Teddy Bear. And it is designed by Joan Elliott. I know that a lot of you are big Joan Elliott fans, and you might be looking for this one. So if you're interested in this one, just say you'd like to stitch the teddy bear. And I'll put your name on the list for it. And then there's one more, and this was a gift as well. This was a gift from my friend Glow. I have stitched it and framed it and shared it with you. And it is such a beautiful piece. I just want to share it with one of y'all. So Glow, I'm going to pass it along. I'm going to pass the joy that you gave to me to someone else and let them enjoy it as well. I just thank you again for thinking of me. So this is a Glendon Place pattern. It's called I'll Be Home for Christmas. And I just shared my framed piece of this with you on my last video. So I will also be passing this along. And it did not come with the button attachment. I do know it's available. I know from 123 Stitch, I found it there. I chose to use red bells out of my stash as I'm stitching from stash this year, but you can order that if you want. It is still available. This is called for either Sullivan's, DMC, or Anchor, so all three are on here. If you're interested in this one, just say that you would like to stitch the Glendon Place. That will be easier, I think, shorter to write than I'll Be Home for Christmas. So if you're interested in that one, just say you'd like to stitch the Glendon Place design, and I'll put your name on the list for that, and hopefully you can enjoy that a bit. So in addition to having our huge fundraising event this weekend, it happened to be that today was our stitching meetup day here in Gainesville at the public library. And I enjoy that so much that I had prearranged with my co-chair for me to go to the stitching meetup for at least a couple hours today. It worked out beautifully because she had to go to an event the night before on Friday when we were open, and I covered, for her. And so today she covered for me, and it worked out really great. And I got to meet everybody in Stitch. So I was stitching on a gift piece today, so I can't share it with you, but at least I got some stitching in today. I didn't get any stitching in yesterday. So this or Thursday, because we did set up all day Thursday. So in 2 months' time, I have only not stitched 2 days, and that was yesterday and Thursday. So today, it was so good to get to stitch just a little bit, even if it was at the stitching meetup for a very short time. But ladies, I had so much fun with y'all, and thanks so many of you for going to lunch with me so I could have a little more time with you. It was a great day. I'm going to let you get back to stitching, and I am going to get to stitching. I'm going to put my feet up, and I'm going to stitch. That's how I'm going to relax. So happy stitching, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina, and today is Monday. It is the 30th of September. So it is the last day of September. It is the first day of our new homework week for School of Magical Stitches. And so I started working on my first prompt today. Our very first prompt takes the word jealousy, and you can use any letter in that word to pick a whip that you have that begins with that same letter. It has to be the name of the project. So I chose to use the S out of jealousy, and I picked Seaside Kingdom because, as you may recall, if you've seen prior videos of mine, I am pushing to finish it by the end of October. So this would give me a day to get a few stitches in it before I even get to the month of October when I start focusing on this one. Well, our requirement was 300 stitches to get 3 points, and so I did. And this is where I'm at on Seaside Kingdom. Last when we spoke, I said I was going to come over and start stitching the part that's in between the little girl and the little boy, and that's exactly what I did. This is the outer leaves that they've stuck into the door of the sandcastle, and this is the side of the door. There's an opening here, and then there is another side to the door. But the majority of all of this around here is beads. So that's all the stitching there is on that side. But I went ahead then and I filled in all that background color that I'm having to fill in because I'm using this blue fabric. But it went pretty quick and it helped me get those 300 stitches pretty fast. So I am thrilled with it. I think I'm making good progress on it. And the next time I pick it up, I'm going to go ahead and fill this in all the way up so that I can move my Q-snap over, and I will start working on the second side of that doorway and the little boy right here. And then all I have to do is finish the castle down there and start beading. So we're making progress. I'm really enjoying this piece now that I've gotten used to the fabric, and it's gotten softer as I've worked with it, so it's a little more pliable and easier for me to make it work. So I'm going to put it away now because it's later in the day, and I'm hoping to get a little start on my second prompt for School of Magical Stitches. My second prompt is about shedding tears in the bathroom. In case I forgot to mention it, this week's homework is all about emotions. It's about the emotions that teenagers go through as they navigate the waters of their social life. And as you know, in the Harry Potter movie, if you've seen it, there's Weeping Myrtle, you know, the poor little girl who's crying in the bathroom all the time. She winds up helping a lot of them as they use her for information and that sort of thing. But our prompt is tears, about what you cry in the bathroom. So we have to stitch on either a piece related to the bathroom or something you would find in a bathroom, which could be water, you know, it could be a bathroom in a house, which is the one I'm going to use. So I have decided that I am going to work on my little house neighborhood because it has 4 houses on it. And I have a little more stitching that I need to do to prep it for the retreat that I'm going to. And that way I'll be very excited to have something there to stitch on. Well, I have some news to share with you. I just can't keep it a secret, so I want to tell you about it. About 2 years ago now, it's been a while, I adopted a little Chihuahua that turned out to have been traumatized greatly and had some horrible behavior issues, like attacking us unprovoked. And she almost bit my husband and she almost bit my son, and I wound up taking her back to the shelter that I had adopted her from because it's a no-kill shelter. And I talked with the director, and she said they had an employee there, a volunteer there, who worked with troubled Chihuahuas with bad behaviors. She was really good with them, and she rehabilitated them, and then they could put that puppy in a home. And we talked about it and agreed that it needed to be a home with maybe one senior citizen in it, a one-person home, because the dog really would bond well with one person and then didn't like anybody else. And that was a very painful experience for me because I had fallen very much in love with that little puppy. So it's been a long time since we've had a pet. And we've retired and moved and, you know, got busy in our new community and really wanted to get settled here to decide whether we really would be home enough to have a pet, and have decided that between my son, my husband, and I, someone's always here, just about. So we have decided it's time, and we have been researching. My husband has allergies, and I wanted a sweet companion in the home. And so we have looked and done our research, and we've selected a breed that we want. It's an Australian Heritage Labradoodle, and we want sort of the medium size, not the huge, big standard, but sort of a small, medium dog. Almost the size of our Patches and Riblet that we've had in the years past. So we went looking, and we have interviewed several breeders. We've met with them, met with more than one, and we've looked at a dog that did not seem to be interested in us at all. She wasn't interested in her owner. She wasn't interested in anybody. She just was interested in playing in the yard and the other dogs, but she wasn't very friendly toward people at all. And when we met her mother was the same way. She tolerated her owner. She came with a bit of reluctance when she was called, and I think her daughter's going to be just like her. And that's not what I wanted. So we walked away from that one. And then in the midst of my weekend at the church, of being in the middle of this huge banquet hall with 60 vendors and you know, everybody rushing around getting everything ready, my husband was able to go and visit another breeder by himself. I didn't get to go, who happened to have a female chocolate Australian Heritage Labradoodle. She was one of 4 puppies, and he had 4 families ready for puppies. We would have been the 5th. But he told us, don't give up hope, because all the other 4 families have asked for the light colored coats. They all wanted either a merle or a blondish color. We were the only family that asked for a chocolate. So he said he really felt like these people were serious about the colors they wanted, and that they very well might opt to wait to his next litter, which would be about the first quarter of next year. And if so, the chocolate would be available. So we went ahead and said, put us as your backup and let us know. So all through the weekend, I was anxiously waiting to hear, because their pick day was Saturday. And everybody came and met the puppies and picked what they wanted in the order of how they had registered, first come, first pick. And we were at the end. So late Saturday evening, I texted and let our breeder know that we were back home, that our event was over, and we were just wondering, good or bad, what was the outcome of the day. And I nearly squealed when I got back his response and said, congratulations, the chocolate female is yours. So we're having a new family, a member being added to our family October 12th. We get to pick her up. I am thrilled. We had not shared this with our son at all, because he's wanted a dog for about 2 years now, and we weren't quite ready. And since he lives in a portion of our home, an apartment downstairs, he rents from us, the dog's going to be back and forth, it's going to be everybody's dog. So we had to wait till everybody was ready. But we all are now. And so once I knew we could get her, I called my son in his apartment, and I said, do you have a minute to come up and let Mom show you something? He goes, yeah, sure. So he comes upstairs and sits next to me, and I showed him a picture of this little puppy dog's face between 2 feet, which were my husband's feet, but Jeremy didn't know that. And so he goes, oh, that's a cute dog. What kind is that? And I told him. And then I showed him a little video that my husband had shot of her following her owner around in the yard, which shows you kind of how big she was right now. She's 5 pounds. She's 5 weeks old. And my son said, oh, she's really cute. And then I went to the last picture on my phone that my husband sent me, and it was him holding the puppy and the puppy's mother in his lap. She had jumped up in his lap as well. And he's got the biggest smile on his face, and my son just lit up like a child and said, is Dad bringing home that puppy? Is Dad bringing home that puppy? I said, not today, but yes, we are bringing home this puppy. He was ecstatic. She's solid brown, and I'm going to put in about those same 3 pictures that I shared with my son, because that's all I have of her right now, and I'll share them with you here. Isn't she precious? Well, my son's response was, why do we have to wait till the 12th? Why can't we go get her tonight? Well, she's not ready to go home yet. So we have been spending a little time now doing research on crates and potty training techniques. And, you know, it's been a long time since I've had a puppy. We've adopted several rescue dogs in our lifetime that we've had as a family. Many of them, you know, already adults and potty trained. It's been a very long time since we've had a puppy, since our son was very small. And so he has never had to housebreak a puppy. And so I went and found some videos that I had already located on YouTube with a breeder from Canada that I think is fabulous. And we sat and watched them together, and we've been talking strategy about how we have to be consistent between the two of us, with him when he has the puppy downstairs with him, or when we have the puppy upstairs with us. So I can't wait for you to meet her. And as soon as I have her, I'll show her to you. But it'll be a couple of weeks. It won't be this video. But that is my news, and I couldn't wait. I just had to share it with you because I'm so ecstatic about it. And I hope you're happy for us too. In the meantime, happy stitching, and I hope you have a great week. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina. Today is October the 2nd, and I'm here to kind of give you an update of what took place yesterday and what's going to be taking place today. I did my, ended my first prompt for School of Magical Stitches, and then began working on my second prompt, and I finished it yesterday. So I was working on my little house neighborhood, and this prompt was that you had to stitch something related to a bathroom because of all the tears that these young teenagers cry in the bathroom when they have a broken heart. And of course, these 4 houses will all have at least one bathroom, maybe more. And according to the prompt notes, we could use a house because it included a bathroom. So that's what I was able to do. So yesterday, I completed 352 stitches in this piece. And I'll tell you what I did. Some of it you may see right away. But I did all of the insides of the windows from the top row all the way to the bottom row. I did the door and all around the door. And then I came over here and I did these leaves until I ran out of green thread. And that gave me my 352 stitches. And we had to do 300 stitches for that prompt. So this got a little love. I didn't fill in the house because I'm trying to save that for time when I'm stitching with friends at local stitching meetups. And so I'm trying to finish the rest of that row before I do the house. So October 1st was a special day for me because October 1st was to be a new start for me. And this is back where I had determined a new start, 1 per month. That was going to be for the year. So this month it is Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. So here I have another Glendon Place. I simply love their patterns, I guess. Anyway, this is the one that I have decided to do for my October new start. And this is my fabric. In fact, this is half of the fabric that I purchased. I got this at a going out of business sale from a local person who had an online shop. But this is called Banshee. And this is hand dyed by Stephanie. I've ordered from her before, but this didn't actually come to me from her. This came from another vendor who had purchased it. So I had to cut it, measure it and cut it. I got it edged yesterday with my zigzag, and I got my start calculated. That's where I'll be starting. I didn't get to put a single stitch in because we had a huge amount of stuff to do yesterday. As it turned out, my son was off work, and we wound up having lunch together. And then we went grocery shopping together. And then I had a dinner to make for a Sunday school class get together, and then had to attend that yesterday. And when I did finally sit down to stitch, I realized I had not made my working copy of my pattern yet, which was unlike me. I usually, a couple of weeks or a week before I do a new start, I go ahead and get everything ready. I kit it up, and I hadn't kitted it up. I had the fabric, but I hadn't pulled the threads. So I really, late last night when I got home, if I had pulled the threads, I could have gotten started with at least a few stitches in it, but I hadn't pulled the threads. So this is what I will be officially starting today. I actually worked on it yesterday because I made my working copy, and I taped it all together. So now I have this huge big pattern. I like mine all in one piece. I like to be able to see how it relates to each other all the way. And so I photocopy it and I tape it with double-sided tape so that it lines straight up. I cover over those rows that are repeats so that they don't confuse me, and I actually have a very clear, perfectly lined up full copy. And yes, it's big, but I have a big stand that I hang it from, and I just, as I stitch it, I can cut it smaller and smaller and smaller. But when I'm working on it to begin with, I like the whole thing there. So now all I have to do is pull my threads, which I'm going to do in a minute. And I am having a virtual stitching date with a friend of mine that I met at one of the, well, it was the second retreat I'd ever been to, and it was in Bloomington, Indiana. It's where I met Vanna in person. And I also met this lovely lady named Mary, and Mary doesn't do floss tube, but she's a very loyal friend and watches mine and Vanna's and others, and is a fabulous stitcher. And we haven't stitched together in a while. We haven't talked in a while for any length of time other than quick little messages through Facebook Messenger. So we're going to catch up today and stitch together virtually. I highly recommend that if you are too far away from someone to stitch with them for very much. Try going on Facebook. All you have to do is be friends on Facebook, and you can go through Messenger with a phone call, and it will call them up on the screen, and you can see them and hear them at the same time. It's easy, and I love it. So that's what we're going to do today. So I am going to go ahead and kit this little puppy up so that I can start it while I'm stitching with Mary. I figure starting the border will be easy enough to get me started. So that's what I'm going to do, start that top border. There are several of us stitching this. If you have it, I think there is a Sal, I believe Gary from the Sunshine Stitchers is in that Sal. So I've got to find out what that hashtag is now that I can join it, and I hope you will too. I will show you my progress in a day or two, and I'll be back with you soon. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina, and today is October the 4th. This is Friday, and it is the beginning of two very important events. There's a Stitch-a-thon in Cross Stitch Finish Line Facebook group, and there's also the 24 hours of cross stitch that starts today. So I have been busy. I have been working on homework, and I've already met the last homework prompt. So now I'm working on the extra credit, which is 300 stitches in a piece of your choice, but it has to be something that's a standalone piece, that's not a series. So I decided just to keep going on my piece I had been working on for my last homework, which is my new start for October. Sleepy Hollow by Glendon Place. Love it, absolutely love it. And I decided to do mine on a fabric that's hand-dyed by Stephanie, and it's called Banshee. And so after meeting one prompt of 300 stitches, I did another 356 stitches to meet the extra credit, and I'll be posting that in a few moments. And here's where I'm at. Isn't that fabric divine? I think it's just going to look great with this piece. I started in my upper left-hand corner, and I started on that border because, you know, that was the easiest stitching to count instead of starting in the middle, and I prefer the upper corner anyway. So I started and worked all the way over to the other side and went down just long enough to make sure I had plenty of room to do my top row, and I came over and started on those motifs. Now, as I was stitching along, I got to this motif and I tried to line it up here, and I realized I was one stitch off. I was one stitch too low. When I looked back, it was the bat. I had started his wing over here one stitch too low, counting off of that skull. I had to frog the whole thing, and I had already back stitched it because I'm back stitching as I go. And I had to frog it all out and re-stitch it. And those 356 stitches don't count the ripping out or the restitching. I didn't even use those because I didn't want to take a bunch of pictures to document where it was and then where I frogged, and then but it wasn't worth it to me. I had enough stitches. So this is where I'm at. I was stitching on this on my extra credit last night, working on it, and my son came in to tell me goodnight and talk about plans for the weekend and that sort of thing. And he saw this and he said, what have you started? And I showed him this one. I said, I have started this. Isn't that cool? And he said, mine. That's for me. I want that one. I had no idea he would like it that much. So yeah, he'll be getting this one. Anyway, so he'll have fun watching me stitch it, I think. So that's where I'm at. I think it's really popping on the fabric. I'm very pleased with it, and I'm enjoying it very much. Even though it's linen, it's smooth, it's nice and even linen. I really like it. So that's where I've gotten to. I hope you're having a great time, and I hope you're participating in the 24 hours of cross stitch any way you want. You know, just do what is comfortable for you and just stitch the way you want to. So I will come back throughout the weekend as I change out pieces, and I will let you know that I'm swapping out and how many hours I've accomplished so far on my goal of 24 over the weekend. Happy stitching, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina. I have been stitching away today on the 24 hours of cross stitch challenge, and I have completed working on the second WIP I had on my list. The first was to finish homework, so I did. I finished that on Sleepy Hollow, and then I picked up a piece that I'm trying to focus toward and push toward a finish this month, and it is Seaside Kingdom. So let me show you where I am with it now. I'm going to fold my fabric up just a little bit so you can see it a little bit better, but here it is. And I think you can see a pretty big difference if you've been following along. I had finished the little girl the last time and had done a bit of this castle door and had filled in some of the fill-in on the castle that I'm having to do because of the blue fabric. And so today I went on up, all the way up, and connected it, and have started moving over here to come down and do the center of that as well. So today I stitched 682 stitches in this lovely piece, and I do think the castle is looking grand. I really like it. So I'm going to put it away for this weekend. I had a goal. I had a goal of stitching a minimum of 500 stitches. And then as I got to going up here and I got about right in here, I decided I was going over 500 stitches because I was going to go at least to Meetup here. And I did. And I used the rest of my little thread till it ran out right here. So 682 stitches, 24 hours of cross stitch. Really happy with that. It is about 11 o'clock at night now, and I'm going to go to sleep a few hours, and then I'm going to get up really early in the morning. My husband's getting up early to go meet a couple of friends for breakfast. And so I'm going to get up when he does, and I will start stitching. My plan for my next piece is to pick up my Glendon Place Love, and I also have a goal of stitching 500 stitches in it. I hope I can. That's what I'd like to do. So that is what I'm going to start on in the morning. I hope you're enjoying your 24 hours of cross stitch if you're participating. And if you're not, I hope you're enjoying the stitching that you are doing. And I'll talk to you soon. Happy stitching. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and today is Saturday. It is October the 5th and I am in the midst of a stitch-a-thon and the 24 hours of cross stitch marathon that we are doing. And I have hit another goal on my list. I'll share it with you. This was my plans for 24 hours. I had written down what I wanted to work on, you know, and so here's where I was keeping track of things. So my next goal was to stitch 500 stitches in Simply Love to help move it along as well. And I am very happy to report that as of now, I have stitched 566 stitches because I went ahead and finished a motif. I didn't just finish out a thread, I actually finished a whole motif, and that's why I got to 566, but here we are. I came down here and closed all this up. I had one to about right here and the other one down to about right here. And so I brought them both together and came all the way. Now this is a complete stem here. And then I came up in here and there are these little white globes in here. There are 5 of them on each side. And I got all of those done. And then I went up in here and caught these 2 globes that I had not seen before and captured them. And then I came over here and I did this swirl and this swirl. And that got me to 566 stitches. So this is great because this has another swirl that'll start right here and it'll come around here. And then there's a larger one at the bottom that comes down here. It actually mirrors like one of these. That's kind of what this is gonna look like in a bit, just a little bit larger. And then one of these motifs, like this, will be out here, and then it'll all be mirrored over here. And then down here, we've got 2 long, beautiful swirls coming off of the bottom. But basically, considering what I've done today, I probably have about 8 to 10 days left, I think, of stitching on this. And this is actually something I had hoped to finish in the month of November. So I probably won't work on it again this month because I'm trying so hard to work on Seaside Kingdom for this month and get it completed. But that means that in November I've got to give this a good solid 8 to 10 days if I want to finish it. So we'll see. It's a lovely stitch. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I had purchased a couple of my extra colors that I ran out of, and I showed that to you when they came in. But as it turned out, I had to buy another mulberry ice and another merlot. Those were the 2 that I had to get. So in my experience then on this pattern, I've had to buy 1 extra skein than what they required of those 2 colors. So I'll keep track of that and hopefully be able to share that with anybody else who wants to do the pattern. And I'm very frugal with my threads, so I think if I run out, probably somebody else will too. So there you go, Simply Love. If I don't get this one finished in November, that's okay. I want to have it ready by February, so I've got time on it. I was just trying, as you know, not to carry over so many things into next year. But that's been the result today. So I'm really excited about that, and it's still early afternoon. It's still, early enough that I will probably get to work on another one of my pieces that I wanted to work on. I will not go to the next one on my list. It is my full coverage. It is Friends, and I wanted to do 500 stitches on it, but I need to be fresh to start that. So I'm probably going to save that one and 12 days as well, because I have to be really fresh on both of those. So my option now is to either move over to Jumpin' Jack Frost, or to pick up some of my new smaller pieces, some of my Quakers or things that I've just recently started, and see what I need to do on them to get them ready for retreat stitching. But whatever I decide to do, you'll know, because I'll come back and share it with you. I do hope that you are enjoying your weekend of stitching, whether you are participating in the 24 hours of cross stitch or not. And I hope that you're getting a lot of time to stitch, as much as you can. And I certainly hope that I get to stitch a lot more this weekend. I'm also feeling a little pressure about getting some stitching done, because when we get our new family member, our little puppy, next Saturday, a week from today, I have a feeling I'm going to be busy for a little while. And I'm going to have a lot less time for stitching, as I'm working with a new puppy and training that new puppy to be a productive and safe member in our household. So wish me well. It's been a while since we've had a puppy in the house. So, but I am very, very excited about it. In fact, my husband asked me today if I would like to go shopping tomorrow after church at a store he found not far from here that specializes in pets. And they have custom made treats and healthy things for them to eat and for you to use for training. And they have all sorts of toys and interactive toys and things like that I think we might want to go and just check it out. So we're thinking about doing that after church tomorrow. So you know what that means. Another day with less time to stitch. I may find that this 24 hours of cross stitch, I stitch fewer hours than I ever have. Anyway, I'll do the best I can, and I know you guys will too. Happy stitching, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina, and today is Sunday, October the 6th, and I am drawing near to the close of my 24 hours of cross stitch. I have so far stitched 23 hours, and I still have time to finish out one more hour and maybe a little bit more, but I'm going to have to figure out which one I want to work on. My original plan of putting 500 stitches in 5 of my long-term whips turned into being a good start, and then as it got later into the day yesterday, I knew I couldn't tackle one of those. One was full coverage, and I just felt like I needed something a little bit easier to do. So instead, last night, I picked up this freebie. That's why I'm showing the chart. It's free. It is a Quaker, and I'm calling it Quiet Please. And you can see notes where I've made notes down here of how I'm doing my colors and how I'm going to move things over for the year and whatnot. But I just wanted you to get an idea of what it was going to look like. I am using a hand-dyed variegated silk for this, and it is beautiful. And so what I worked on yesterday was this big motif right here. That's what it looks like in total. There's that pretty beautiful fabric. And this is actually called Heather. It is a 32 count Lugana, and it's a Colorscapes hand-dyed fabric. I picked it up at one of the retreats, so I don't know exactly how I found that, but otherwise. But there you can see the variegation. It goes from dark purple to blue to sort of a greenish brown. It's looking more green in the camera, but when you look at it with your naked eye, it's more of a brown color. But it is, I think, lovely, and I'm loving the way that it's turning out. And so when I finished this late last night, I had actually stitched from Friday through Saturday night. I had stitched 23 hours. And so I'm going to take a picture of this now. I'm going to post it in my 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Facebook page, and then I'm going to pick up my last piece for the 24 hours and see if I can't eke out that last hour. And I get more, that's great, but I'm going to try for at least an hour. I hope you guys have had a successful 24 hours. I hope you've gotten some progress on some pieces. I am thrilled that I have gotten the work on the ones that I have, and that I could see the progress. 500 stitches makes a big difference to me. I can actually see some difference, so that makes it fun. All right, I'll get back with you later this evening and give you my final update, and then I will probably wrap this up and go ahead and upload it so you can enjoy the 24 hours of cross stitch. Talk to you soon. Okay, everyone, this is the final 2 hours of the 24 hours of cross stitch stitching. I pulled out my Jumpin' Jack Frost. It was one of the projects I had on my original list that I wanted to try to get to through this 24 hours. And I was able to stitch 2 hours on this piece. I filled in the middle of this leaf, and then I came over and filled in this green vine here, and then I came up to the top and I picked one of my bright orange colors, this one right here, and I completed the rest of these little orange stitches. So now this pumpkin and piece is cross stitched all the way over to right here, and then I can go on and finish it this direction. But I was really pleased to get that much done. My next thing I wanted to do was backstitch the little bit of backstitching that's in here. I may do that next when I next pick up this piece and get this little leaf stem backstitch that's not in there, and then I can move to this side of the piece. But this was great fun. I wanted to work on it because it is fall, and I was able to do that. And so I am happy to report that my 24 hours of cross stitch, I ended with 25 hours. That's a huge success, and I am very, very pleased. I hope you had a great time, and now I will say goodbye until next time. Enjoy your stitching, and don't forget to let me know which of those patterns you might want to stitch that I'm giving away for my subscribers. Happy stitching, everyone.